What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Lava Land Podcast. Excited as always. It is your host, Ryan Motter. And joining with me, we have the man, Jay Brand, and we have the man, Sava Lava. And if you guys haven't already, make sure to hit the like button to subscribe to stay tuned for future uploads. And make sure if you're in the local area, come see us on June 14th at Yellow Springs for an event that we're going to be at. We got some exciting things to go over with y'all. We're going to let Sava start it out this week. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it.
Let's go, everybody. How we all feeling today?
Feeling Gucci.
Feeling good.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So before I do start it off, I think Jay Brand has a little thing for us. Got a question for us.
Oh, yeah. So the question of the week is what was the best year to be born?
Ooh.
And that could be however you want it to be. Mine would be what would be the best year to be born in terms of how your youth was and then your ability to retire, because the economy's rough now. So the future is bold. For me, I would say 1947. All war just ended. So everything was looking up.
Damn.
So if you were born in 47, that means you were 20 by the time Woodstock happened. So you could meet this baddie in a field at 20, have a little extracurricular activities, see Jimi Hendrix play, all these people for $15.
He's kind of getting me hooked right now, I'm not going to lie.
And then at 50 years old, your house is probably worth some imaginable number, and you probably paid $50,000 for a house. Some starter house with a basement and 5 bedrooms back then. And it's you imagine the return on that. You paid 30, 40 G's for a house. And I mean, even small houses might have been 8 to 10 back then.
Yeah.
In the 60s, depending on where you were and what it was, if it was a duplex or something like that. But I would say 47, because you're gonna be a teenager or young adult in Woodstock, and everything you buy is gonna have an investment return: cars, houses, clothing, watches, jewelry.
What do you think about that, Dollar?
That's actually pretty dope. I mean, I would have to say that's a pretty smart answer. One thing I saw today, a post that somebody posted on Facebook, kind of hit me. I was like, damn. It said that, granted, this kid's my age, but this holds true for you and for you too, Saba, that we're a part of the last generation that saw the world before social media took over.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of hit deep. It's damn, bro. That's facts.
It's crazy, too, because I was in that in-between stage before smartphones really became popular. And I didn't even have my own smartphone until I was in college, basically. You know what I mean? So... And people making apps was very new.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Very interesting time for me. It's I don't know, dude. We didn't have all those fancy, tablets and iPads and shit. You know what I mean?
Didn't have them space books. Yeah. Find me on the book Faces and
But I mean, honestly, that's a tough question though, man. I mean, you kind of sold me on the whole 47 thing.
Year. Because everything you buy has a return on its investment.
But at the same time, though,
67 Mustang and you put it in a garage with 1,000 miles on it.
If you were gonna do that, you wouldn't know that was gonna happen.
But
you know what I mean?
Anything now, think about it. Even guitars,
if
you would have to pay a
travel.
lot. But it's a 1960s Fender.
Yep.
Is going to be just put in a box set of my Fender would probably have to sit 300 years.
Right.
Compared to a guitar from the 60s just covered in cigarette ash and scratches and dings. It just sat for 20 years and someone's like, oh, okay, that's worth $10,000.
Exactly.
I think it would be, though, kind of cool, too. If we were to go back, before, modern civilization. If we're talking
I've thought about that, too.
Feudal Japan or, the medieval era. One thing I have to say, this is something I've always held an opinion on, and there will be a lot of people that won't agree with this. But I would have to say that combat back in that time period where it was with swords.
Oh, that's brutal.
That is badass combat compared to now where you can just shoot somebody. That's not, I mean, in reality, it's really not that badass. Okay, so you picked up a gun and you fired a bullet. That makes you stronger than them. No, you freaking had a sword and you took down 20 fucking Klansmen. That's pretty badass. You know what I mean?
Another one would be, since we don't know the exact date of it all, but if you were, whenever you'd be born, whatever that year is, to where say you're like 18 when the pyramids are like built and functional. I was gonna
kind of go off of that a little bit. If it is real, I was kind of thinking Atlantis, when Atlantis is around.
That would have been
True.
sick,
Because
bro.
if you think about it, you know, like Atlantis was known to have, you know, a surplus of all necessities. You know what I mean?
The brightest minds gathered there.
Unlimited energy.
I bet there was some baddies walking around Atlantis.
Oh, man.
Baddies over there.
Let me get them Atlantean numbers.
You know what I'm saying?
I bet.
I heard she was a squatter dog.
Super Soaker from Atlantis. No, that definitely would be in a rap song if Atlantean women existed. I need a girl like Atlantean, getting wet like an Abian.
Shit.
That was a bar right there, so don't steal that. You know, that's copyright Lava Labs.
Sounds from Safa.
Yep. You up? I am.
I think Dolla's up.
For what?
But yeah, I mean,
For anything.
47 though. I think like to be born like when the war was over, everyone probably had like supreme, like good energy in America at that time. Obviously, if you were like from a family that stayed intact after the war and came back, did well.
Which war we talking?
World War II would be 47 if you were born
yeah.
that year, because that would make you 20 by Woodstock.
For sure.
So it's that's probably as good as it got. As they said, like the golden era, like some of our grandparents, like that would be kind of like my grandpa, where they say things that are just like, yeah, you work a summer job and I bought a little nice Mustang or something. And it's like, really? You worked a summer job and bought a car paid in full?
Exactly.
Like, and you tell me times were different? Like, yeah, they were, bro. No one could do that
In
now.
a good way, they were.
Yeah. Times were different for sure.
Gumballs for 5 cents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like everything was like there was a reason to
Gas
have
was
change.
5 cents, dude.
Yeah.
Facts.
I seen a picture from my grandma's
A gallon.
like photo book one time, and it was 1971, and they were like by a gas station getting ready for a camping trip, and it was like 23 cents a gallon.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's all I got to say about that.
Hell yeah. Well, I know last week we kind of talked about the moon a little bit, so I did have an update for us on some real shit that's happening soon. If anyone's interested, are you guys interested in that?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Better do it. All right, cool. So, we're looking at about 2026, 2027. We're talking about a couple of years right now. You know what I mean?
Next year.
So, China and the U.S. are in another space race right now, an actual space race. They're trying to get to a very specific part of the moon, specifically the South Pole of the moon. And there's some really interesting reasons why. You guys want to take any guesses?
I think it's probably to get water to have a base.
What do you think, Dollar?
Because they gotta be China.
I mean, yeah, they do. There's a lot of things that are tied into this. So, water's one of them.
Okay.
There's a couple other ones, probably a few more than a couple. But let's go ahead and go over some things here. So, the reason why we want to make sure that China doesn't get there first is because this place has a surplus of water in ice form in these, I think there's like 3 or 4 craters that they're looking for. Now, these craters are deep enough to where they don't see any sunlight whatsoever, ever. So the water is always going to be in ice form. You know what I'm saying? But water can obviously be mined and used for different resources, you know, like fuel, because it can be converted into like hydrogen and pure oxygen.
Rocket fuel.
You know, exactly. Yep. So they can use it for a lot of different things, and there's a lot of it.
And just clean drinking water in general.
Exactly. Yep. the main goal overall is they want to have a long-term moon base at the south pole of the moon. Dude, like this is like some of the craziest shit that's happening right now, for real, dude. Some actual shit happening
They're
on the moon.
partnering with Russia to do it.
China is?
Yeah.
I heard about that.
I did hear, though, the one caveat is it's going to kind of be like how when if they build it first or whatever the case is, it would kind of be like how the International Space Station was, where like the U.S. built it, but everyone's allowed to have their astronaut or two.
That's the problem, right? So that's why we have to get there first, because if we don't, then China is going to be able to they're just going to be able to say, hey, I was here first. You're not allowed to be here.
Yeah, we'll let
get
you
out
come
of
up
here
in 10 years.
Maybe not even that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if someone like America, USA would be able to get it, it would be able to be more of like I'm trying to think of how to...
a hub.
Like kind of like an airport type thing where like it's international and it has regulation and, you know, it's
like a
free
space
trade
hub,
kind
probably,
of.
yeah.
True.
You know what I mean? So that's the main reason why it's considered a space race right now, because we got to get there first.
Yeah, I guess to summarize that, if China gets it, the moon would become China. If we get it, then it would become like sovereign moon.
Yep.
Where it's everyone can use it as an international, kind of like a Panama Canal.
Exactly.
Where it's protected and you can come and go. And
one thing I will say, it would be a problem if Elon is the one that gets there, though.
Because then he's an Elon.
No, because then they'd have to call it the X Hub. And when people look that up, they're going to go to the wrong website.
What's that website?
If China and the US are in a space race, you could say it's like Elon Musk level ambition, but on a global scale. Both countries are pushing boundaries to not just explore space.
Sparky was listening to me, dude.
Of human expansion out there. Pretty wild stuff.
That's Sparky?
Right? Just like Elon's Mars dreams, but with much bigger stakes. You'd totally have that vision in your lava lamp, Doc, too. The race for
I don't like that.
Turn
that shit off, bro.
ChatGPT
I don't like that.
entered the chat, literally, bro.
Oh shit!
That was unplanned 100%.
Dude, you know what'd be
freaked
wild?
out, dude.
Would be wild as fuck if he's like, Sava, correction.
Correct. No, it would be even weirder if everybody's phone just starts doing its own little, like how they were talking, and I'd be like,
They're all talking to each other.
Yeah, dude. What was that language called again?
Gibberlink.
Yeah,
Gibberlink. Yep,
Gibberlink.
exactly. Hell yeah.
Activate
Now,
Gibberlink.
to stay on the topic here, there's more than just water that they're trying to get. These craters that they're looking for, right? Again, they're deep enough to where like the depth of the crater doesn't see sunlight, right? But the rings at the surface do, and they see sunlight basically like all the time. Pretty sure like 23 out of the 24 hours of the day.
Yeah.
So the plan is to be able to put solar panels all around all of these craters.
Yeah.
Basically just have unlimited energy with that, because another thing is it doesn't have an atmosphere. The moon doesn't. So it's able to get a lot more of the radiation from the sunlight.
True.
Compared to Earth, where we have the atmosphere protecting us. Yeah, exactly. In the ozone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Get the solar rays.
Right. So it'll be able to consume a lot more of the solar energy.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do that. There's a lot of stuff, bro.
I think the main thing is to be able to launch from the moon because of the gravity. Because it's like Earth's gravity makes it really hard to launch rockets.
For sure.
So the thrust and force, but if you're launching from the moon, the
You're
amount
already
of
in-
thrust to get off the moon is like next to nothing.
Yeah, to get to
Plus-
Mars, you mean?
Yeah, so
that's
it's
another
like
thing
to
for
go
sure.
from the moon to somewhere in space.
It's
is way more
basically like
practical.
the stepping stone for
Oh, yeah.
for that next part of the journey.
It's kind of like that, that Tortuga Caribbean island for back in
For
the
sure.
day, seaborne people where, hey, there's this place we got to get to so we can supply to go wherever else we want to go.
Right. Now let me ask you this. That's happening in about 2 years. Do you think that we'll be seeing like commercial space travel before we all die?
We already are. It's just for the elites right now.
Right. That's true. But when I say commercial, I mean like
For the average
for the
person.
average
Yeah,
person, kind of like
fly
flying.
Delta
Exactly.
to go to the moon. I would say for sure, no question.
Yeah.
I think the thing people that forget a lot in this whole space race thing is we didn't just go to the moon once. We went several times.
Oh yeah, dude.
Multiple times.
Oh yeah.
Took back a lot of samples, went to different places. We even had one of them fail. I think that was Apollo 13. It was the landing or something went wrong, and so they had to like circle it. And they literally did math while orbiting the moon, and they were doing a trajectory while NASA in Houston was doing a trajectory, and like their combined math is what got Apollo 13 back.
Oh wow.
And then following like their little flight checklist, because like everything that went wrong basically could for them, and they avoided disaster and came back. So I mean, some of those failed missions. Yeah,
I have that
Tom
movie.
Hanks.
I think remember if he's in
but
it,
it was good, really good. I believe
have it somewhere.
Young Tom Hanks.
Okay.
I think he was. I can't remember the astronaut's name. You always know the ones that stepped on the moon, but you don't know the other.
Right.
Because there's literally, I think it's like 8 different people have walked on the moon, not just Lance or Neil Armstrong. I always do that.
Lance.
Yeah, he's on his bicycle with there. Bling, bling. And Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, Buzz Aldrin,
And I believe there's a
Neil
third
Armstrong.
one too.
I don't think so.
He's not talked about.
It was the cameraman.
Yeah. That's always the joke. Like, how'd the cameraman get
Did you
there?
say
Like, clearly
Neil
it was
Armstrong?
staged.
Yeah, Neil
Yeah,
Armstrong.
it's Neil.
Yeah.
I know. He said
I said Lance at first.
just
Yeah,
a
he's
biker, yeah.
he's doing the tour to moon.
Yeah, the tour to moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, there's one more thing that I feel like not many people really know about this whole space race. There's another element up there that we don't have that they're looking for. Helium-3.
Oh yeah.
This is apparently supposed to be like space air.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's another rocket fuel.
Not only that, bro, but like it's they're claiming that it can be the next source of, or the closest thing to pure energy that we can get
True.
right now.
Yeah, because it's clean.
Yeah, so I mean, and there's a lot of it, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if it does or not. I could be fact check corrected on this, but I'm pretty sure it does. Like, it's kind of like a fossil fuel where it regenerates very slowly. You know what I mean?
Dude,
That's kind of a made up name too.
What?
Like fossil fuel. Like they
yeah.
they use that term to make people think that like we're gonna run out.
Right.
But it's really like it's just the fossil layer of the earth we're taking it from. Like people thinking like we're gonna run out of dinosaur bones. Like that's wild, dude. That's not even
when
what
they
it
start
is.
when they start bottling up the space air, they're gonna have problems because they're gonna get sued by Galaxy Gas.
Yeah.
Like, well, you can't be selling that. You put us out of business.
That reminds me of that clip I see where it's Squidward when
Like,
he
motherfucking Galaxy.
he's at the neighborhood where everyone's the same like him, and he's at the store. He's like, "Oh my, they have it, motherfucking Galaxy Gas!" It's awesome.
Oh my god, Squidward, get the Galaxy Gas.
It's gonna make me
Buzzed.
Down.
But no, I think
buzz down, Tatiana.
with the whole space race, I think we're also going to see, I think it's very important, like we're at a heightened sense of conflict around the world. I think it's also a ploy that maybe like warfare might just go into outer space.
Oh yeah,
Because
for sure.
it's like everybody has such an intertwined economy to start like just nuking each other or doing whatever is like, that's bad for business no matter
Yep.
who you are. So it's like, but if you did it out in space on a certain place and in a certain way with terms, I mean, you could like, Trump created a space division.
Space Force.
And it's like,
Space Force.
that's a real division in
Of
our
the
military.
military, yep.
So it's like, that was created in response because other nations were doing things in space.
Right.
Like, for example, like China was, they either are or trying to make a satellite destroyer, like a thing that goes in space and just like disassembles people's satellites.
Oh yeah,
and
that's like the
things.
Golden Dome he's been talking about.
No, it's like, this is just similar to like, it's basically like a drone that gets sent out into space and it finds other satellites and disables them.
Be like an EMP, basically.
Oh,
Kinda,
okay.
but it just like cuts them up, whatever it needs to do. Because I
Right.
mean, you can imagine if it has a solar panel and it just snips it off, the thing's not going to run
Right.
for, but a day and then it's done.
So this does say that helium-3 is a rare isotope that could revolutionize nuclear fusion.
Yeah.
The country that figures out how to extract it could control the next energy economy.
Oh, for sure.
I guarantee you they'll have CERN working on it. If you just said it's about fission, basically.
I mean, maybe. We know SpaceX and NASA have the capability of doing it.
Yeah, because we've already achieved nuclear fusion. Fission, I believe, is like the next step, I think, in like
I have no idea.
the close, like it's not a warp drive, but we need that aspect along with like, essentially it's going to take like an antimatter
Right.
of some sort, because like we know there's more antimatter than matter by like 10 to 1. Like there's way more antimatter everywhere, or dark matter, whatever
That's what
the
they
word
were
is.
looking for during the eclipse,
Yep.
apparently. They were searching for dark matter.
And if they could harness that, then that's like you're not even moving, you're just bending space and time to go where you want.
Right.
Bro, imagine that, like, 100 years down the line, military's got these grenades that when they go off, it's a dark matter grenade. And literally,
That's
you
scary.
just get, like, disintegrated into dark matter. That would be fucking wild.
To piggyback off that, I saw a clip for a movie. I think it's called something 277 or
Okay.
2077, and it's like super futuristic world, and it takes place in like Japan, and they go back to being samurais, but it's 2077. So like these soldiers put on like Shogun helmets and all this crazy stuff, and have like energy
Iron Man
swords
suits.
and
Oh,
like
shit.
Halo weapons and stuff. And
Hell yeah.
it's like crazy how it all looks, and it's like,
That looks
imagine
dope.
if that's what happens, and it's like everybody goes back to looking like ancient warriors, but it's like high-tech AI stuff.
I mean, we're getting there, dude.
Bro,
to be honest.
sign me up for the Greek Spartan helmet AI version, built-in
Looking like Tron.
AI glasses, just freaking target identified.
I think Saudi Arabia literally just made Chat GPT Premium free for everyone that lives there. Like they bought that subscription.
Where at?
In Saudi Arabia.
What?
So they paid for every citizen to have free access to Chat GPT Plus to like help them with their everyday life and work and stuff.
Wow, that's wild.
So think like 10 years post that. Like you have a whole country that has access to like high-end AI to whatever.
Not even just
Cooking,
that.
fixing their car.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you can take pictures of stuff and be like, my tire looks like this. What's wrong? How do I fix it? And
That's
Chat
what-
GPT will be like, do you have this tool even? You know,
Right,
like,
but
it'll help you.
it's gonna even get farther than that, because I mean, we're looking at, shit that Elon did with what's it called? His internet that he does? What's
Starlink?
Starlink, right. With Starlink, he's getting free internet access to places. Eventually that can be
like
something
200 gig.
that can happen like around the
Or
world
meg.
eventually.
Right.
And then, going off of having Chat GPT all the time for free, and then having this, unlimited energy. That's the goal, dude. Get
So
unlimited energy.
Everybody would turn back to an inventor.
I did
Yeah.
see pros and cons to that, like what you were talking about, like Saudi Arabia having Chat GPT for everybody. There will be good things that come out of that, but then there will be people that will be dependent on that. And then if, like, for some reason, like the tech goes out or something and they can't access it for a little bit, it'll be wide freak out. People be freaking
Yeah.
out. And you'll have people that are depending on it in the sense, it reminds me of the movie WALL-E, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where like these people are obese and all they have is like their electronic stuff that
Float
moves them
around.
float around.
We're
I
going
feel like
there,
that's
man.
the direction that it's low key going.
It's
So, like,
possible.
there's good things with electronics, but there's also, I mean, if you're dependent on it and you can't function without it, we've already seen people the second you misplace your phone, oh shit, where the fuck's my phone at? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
it's that.
I think the one thing I like about it, like what you were saying, is I think maybe like the transparency that'll be brought about, because I've seen
Yep.
even cases like medically where someone was told by a doctor, like, hey, you're terminal, there's nothing we can do for you. And like they uploaded their entire like medical document paperwork to Chat GPT, and it was like, oh no, this is what's wrong with you. And they took the Chat GPT diagnosis and are like in full remission.
Damn.
So you're already seeing like, here's a doctor who went to school for 8 years, was a specialist, was like, I can't do anything for you. And they uploaded like 50-page stack of medical documents. And in 30 seconds, Chat GPT was like, oh, I got you. And that's today's Chat GPT. So
yeah.
10 years from now, when you have a robot in your house and Chat GPT can scan you with that robot and go, oh, you broke your arm. Here. Done. Don't even need to go to the doctor.
Chat GPT, I'll be my day, dog. Scare me up.
I'm trying to find it.
Dang. I mean, really, in conclusion on this topic, we got to make sure we get there before China.
Yeah.
For real.
So, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that's pretty interesting?
Yeah, I think
Definitely.
the one thing, and granted, I've noticed it on TikTok for my closing statement on it. And granted, it's a Chinese app. People can say whatever they want with the semantics of the owner and all that.
Right.
But it's a CCP app. I'm seeing how there's a lot of push that's like, oh, China's going to be the one that's fair and like they need to run the world and all
That's
that. That's
crazy
like,
to me, dude.
okay, Mao Zedong ruled China, I think, up until the 80s or 90s. Dude starved millions of people to death. So Xi Jinping has been in since 2012. So you're looking at a guy who's been in office for 13 years. I don't think they have any plans of having an election anytime soon.
Right.
I just don't see how letting a dictator run the moon makes sense to anyone. You can set your feelings aside about what you think America is, but it's not ran by a dictator, bro. They got 4 years and then they're gone.
All I'm gonna say is these people complaining all the time, hating this country and this and that. They can only say that because of the freedom they have in this country, dude. I mean,
you can't.
People just don't get it anymore, man. They really don't.
There's no traditional dictator where you can walk in the street and be like, man, screw this dictator. I hate this place. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
You get beat up, thrown in jail, worse. They don't let that go to China right now and try to look up Winnie the Pooh. They won't let you do it. Because someone made fun of Xi Jinping one time in a picture with Obama about his weight. They banned it. You can't even look into like Tiananmen Square, what happened during their protests. Like, it is banned. Imagine if the U.S. banned anything they did bad. You couldn't look it up.
Yeah.
That'd be BS. Revolt. Be BS. You got to show the bad and the good.
Exactly.
Or you're hiding something.
Wild stuff, guys. So make sure you guys are rooting for us on that, at least, even if you got
USA,
even if you disagree with other things, we got to make sure we do that first. So
Columbus.
We love everybody.
Everyone's accepted.
Speaking of that, this video is sponsored by Lava Labs.
If you guys didn't know, Lava Labs is going to be in Yellow Springs on June 14th for an event we are excited about. A little foodie festival kind of thing. We're going to be having food trucks out there. It's going to be a blast. There's going to be music, I think, out there. We're going to be selling shirts, and we're going to be selling koozies. And if you guys didn't know, if you guys have custom designs that you want to see come true, send them to us and let us do what we do, and we will make something nice for you. And that is the truth of the matter. We appreciate you guys for tuning in to another electric episode of the Lava Lamp Podcast. And if you guys haven't already, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to stay tuned for future uploads. And go check out the other episodes and show them love. And leave a comment. Let us know you were here. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.